All right, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna go through what I have in my my travel bag. I've had lots of questions actually on my Facebook page asking me what cameras I use when I go traveling for the photos and for video. So we'll do that today in this video. If you do like it, don't forget as you're watching, hit the like button. And if you aren't subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with my new videos as they come out. All right, let's get into it. My bag that I keep all my camera gear. It's a Lowepro, what's the name of it? Protastic BP 350 AW2. That's a mouthful. This is there's a couple of versions of this bag. This is the smaller size one. It's good, holds everything that I need. I don't need to go crazy with all my gear, but it is good for traveling because the outside's like a hard case, so it keeps it nice and protected if you have to you know, throw it into overhead bins. Fits under your seat quite nicely. There's also lots like straps on the side if you want to strap on your tripod on there, so it's pretty handy. Back straps. You can also have it set up so you can access your camera from the top, depending on how you have everything organized inside. But I really do like it because it keeps your stuff all protected, and also the opening is in the back. So if you have it on your back, no one can kind of access anything to kind of scoop it out of there if you're standing somewhere, you know, in a busy airport, busy place. So to open it up, keep inside, keeps everything in there. It's nice on the back. There's a spot it'll hold a small laptop like a MacBook Air, but I keep my iPad in there. I actually edit most of my videos on my iPad, so it's pretty handy to have it when you travel. So I keep that in there on the top. There's also lots of pockets to keep other accessories and stuff like that. If you have cords and cards, everything else. So, but let's go over cameras. So my main camera that I use is it's a Sony mirrorless 8-7 II. It's not the newest Sony camera on the market. I didn't buy it when it was the latest and greatest, but it's a pretty good price right now because there's a couple of generations newer. But it's a great little camera. The lens that's on here that I use most of the time for landscape is the kit lens, 28-70. It's a decent lens. Does what I need to do it. So pretty basic there. That's my main camera. Most of the pictures on my Instagram that I use and share are all taken with this camera here. So, but I do have another lens for this camera that I use quite often. It is a Sony lens as well, E-mount lens. It's a 70-200 lens. I use this quite a bit for landscape photography as well. It's pretty good for portraits as well. So kind of my favorite lens. I usually have this one on my camera when I'm out and about. So I use that. And I do have another camera. This is the first mirrorless camera that I bought when I kind of got into photography. It's a Sony as well. It's the Sony a6000. This one's still available. It's still a really good camera if you're thinking of getting a kind of a starter mirrorless camera. This is a great deal. They're still available, and the price is pretty inexpensive for what you get. Pictures are great. It does come with a kit lens that has a little bit of a zoom. It's 16-50. I don't use this lens on so much. What I mostly use this camera for now is to do my time lapses, and I use that quite often because I like it. Has an app that you can get, and it's super easy to start a time lapse. I usually use this camera for time lapse. It's small. You can put it on a little tripod, leave it somewhere, and it doesn't take up a lot of space if you're doing your time lapse. And typically, I do have a couple of lenses for the a6000. The one I use the most on the time lapse, I have a wide angle. This is a Sigma lens, and it is 60mm 1.4. So what the 1.4 is the aperture size. It's really open, really wide, and it's really good for night photography as well. So if I do any if you see it on my Instagram, I'll link it above. If you look on my Instagram for any night shots, that's always been taken with this lens. It's really good for night photography, and I really like it. It's nice and wide, and I like to use it for my my time lapses. And I do also have another prime lens for that one. This one is the Sigma as well. It's a 30mm lens. I'll use this one. It's kind of nice to put on if I'm going around, if I'm walking around cities and stuff. It's kind of good for street photography. So you kind of use that one a lot. Nice compact little lens for the camera. And then in terms of video, so most of the video that I shoot, I usually use the A7 II. That's the most part. But I also have an Osmo Pocket that will get used. I use this one a lot for slow motion. It's nice that it is stabilized, so it's good for slow motion, but it's also nice. There's a setting in here for time lapse, and it's got a kind of a cool setting where you can actually do a panning with a time lapse for your video. So to see that, actually I have a video, my latest video, we did a cruise to Alaska, and there's a couple of shots in there with a panning time lapse. You can see I'll link that video up above as well, so you can kind of see some of the features. Mostly use this for slow motion and for time lapse. And other than that, that's all the stuff for cameras. Now, mostly the rest is just kind of little accessories. The one downside with these Sony cameras is the battery life. The batteries that are with them are fairly small, so you need to have extra ones. So I have a few extras along with a charger that I can plug in as I go. And then I also carry along in my bag, it's like a battery power pack with a cord, so I can either charge my cameras with this, or I can plug in the charger and charge all my batteries at the same time. It also works, you can charge your cell phone on there too if you need extra juice when you're around. I do keep a couple of extra little memory cards and stuff saved in there. You can never have too many memory cards. They sometimes like to fail, so I do keep those in there. Lens cleaner as well, and just some adapters. I do have an adapter so I can get the SD card into my iPad and edit photos. I mostly edit my photos on the iPad as well using Lightroom. I'll do a video on how I kind of get my photos off the camera into the iPad, so you can see. It's really easy, super simple, especially when you're traveling. It's so small, you can kind of do it anywhere. And then I also do have a mic that will go on to the A7 III. It'll plug in. This one's a Rode video mic. I don't use this one actually that often. I have a lav mic now, so this one's just kind of in there still. And then other than that, just some little extra tools, Allen wrenches for the tripod, just so you can tighten everything up if need be when you're on the road. And I think that's it. No, hold on, one more little thing, which is kind of cool. This little thing here. This is a lifesaver if you are doing time lapses on your camera. What this does is it goes onto the top on the hot shoe, and it lets you, especially if you're a tripod, like a lot of the little GorillaPods, they don't tell you if your camera is level or the tripod's level. So if you're clamping it somewhere and you're looking to see if your camera's level, you can't always see if it's perfect. This lets you see the little balls get it level on the shot. There's nothing worse than doing a time lapse that takes about 40 minutes, getting it back, looking at it on your iPad or computer, and realizing the horizon's crooked. So this is like $5 on Amazon. It will save you so much time and having to redo time lapses. So that's worthwhile. But that's it. Hopefully you liked the video. If you have questions about any of the gear specifically that I mentioned, maybe I went too fast for some of the stuff. If you do have a specific question about some of the gear that I use or what I use it for, don't be afraid, leave a comment below. I'll answer them the best I can. And again, hopefully you liked this video. If you did, right now, just maybe hit the like button. And if you'd like to kind of see more videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.